What's going on, everybody? Ears Up in Depth. Hot off the heels of what was an incredibly mediocre Destination D23. So we're here to talk about it. We're here to break it down. This is what a lot of people in Discord are waiting for, Jeremy. They were waiting for this specific episode. So shouts out to Marie and all the people who are waiting for this. They were going a media blackout over on Discord until us can talk about it good.
Oh.
Yeah, until us can gooder about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, this was an interesting...
It was interesting. So I did live stream a few of the panels on Saturday. Yeah. Sunday, there wasn't a live stream. I think it was only Saturday.
I think that's because there wasn't news on Sunday.
Well, no, but there was like fun stuff that I did want to look at. Like they had a Down the Rabbit Hole, which is like conspiracies, I guess, or something about, Walt and the Disney Company. They had a weird Walt panel or something like that, where they just talked about weird facts. They had a costume contest, which I was planning on that's the content I want to engage with. It's the fun side, but they didn't stream it. But on Saturday, I woke up at 5:30 in the morning to prepare myself to start streaming the opening and then the parks announcement. And it was all I could do to not pull the plug on the whole day and not do another panel. But I pushed through. I did the Avengers panel. I did the Epcot panel. I did the Disney Cruise panel. And I wish I hadn't. Because we were talking about just before the show aired, or just before the show started, that the Destination D23 is different than D23. Right? It's the filler for not the big one. D23 is like the big one, which they announced this year will be, when is it? It'll be August 9th through the 11th in Anaheim. Huge.
Yes.
But
because D23 is typically every other year. They don't do it every year. D23 is a different event. It's an expo. There's, there's booths, you walk, there's a show floor. Destination D is more of a panel event, and I don't even think that there's concurrent panels. I think there's like one place and you go, and it's like this is what's at 9 a.m. This is what's at 11 a.m. I think there was
two because they were kind of tight together. Okay. If I remember, the backgrounds were lit a little differently, but maybe they change it. Who knows? I don't know. Because then I think you get people camping out in one spot for the whole day. Then that's not, Yeah. But yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
They may have expanded it. I haven't gone to Destination D since 2011, so I think they may have grown it a little bit since then. But I remember even when we went. I mean, when I went, I think that was the first one in 2011, and we sat there in the Contemporary. There's an expo space in the Contemporary, and I was with two friends, and we were watching it, and we're watching a panel about Splash Mountain, like a 15-minute walk from Splash Mountain. And at some point I finally said, can we just actually get out of here and go on the ride? Like, I'm sick of sitting in here listening to people talk about it. Let's just go on it, because we were getting a little bit bored to tears. So we didn't stay at Destination D. We're like, well, Magic Kingdom is like tantalizingly close. Like, let's just go.
Yeah, that was what I was gathering from listening to all the panels, is that it wasn't really for anything. It's not really to announce stuff. There was stuff announced, and we'll get into that in a second. But for the most part, it was informational. Like the Avengers thing. The guy, it was the executive creative director of Marvel Comics. Okay, super passionate dude, super excitable, and he just sort of went through the timeline of the Avengers. And in 1960, the Avengers were this. It started way back because of this, and like just kind of spitting some facts and some trivia, and then that was it. It was done. It was like, what was the point of this?
Right.
I don't know. It just was weird. The cruise line, the Disney Cruise Line panel, was possibly the dumbest thing I've ever sat through, and I've been to college. Like it was just, I don't know, man. Everyone was inspired. They were all talking about inspirations for stuff and how inspired these people were. And they had a panel of like 6 people who work on the cruise lines talking about it. And at one point they went through each one specifically to tell their story about why they were excited to work on the cruise lines. And it's like, does anybody really care? No. I remember when I was a kid my parents got the VHS tape, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're right. Do you guys remember the VHS tape?" And she's like, asking the crowd, and they're like, yeah, man, okay.
Yeah,
and then it's like 5 minute story. Yeah, it's like 5 minute story about this woman's childhood and about she watched. It's like I don't know. I didn't tune in for this. I don't know what I tuned in for. Anyway, it was weird, and so I had to remember several times throughout the day. This isn't a learning thing. It's just a pamphlet, one sheet on the history of this whatever you're sitting in on. You're not really going to get anything that you're not going to get anywhere else.
Well, but that's what it should be. And quite honestly, I mean, I remember when I went, we did a skit. There was what's the Jungle Cruise? It was a Jungle Cruise panel, and it had all these former skippers, and they came on and told their stories of like crazy stuff that happened. And I thought that was fascinating.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Yeah. This was not that.
But Disney's everything's just marketing now. There isn't actually interesting, unique content. It's all just marketing. It's like, come and see. Show me how the outboard motors work, or like the azipods, whatever they call on the cruise ship. Like, show me that. Show me your bow thrusters. How many does it have? How does it? I want to know about the boat.
We're live streaming. Come on,
don't thrust my bow.
Let's get a little warm in here. Yeah.
Or like, here's how we build it. Did you know that there's ballast? I just want to know more about this is a boat. Like, show me the behind the scenes. I don't care that this lady had a VHS when she was 7.
Yeah, I didn't care either. It was bad. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about what actually happened at the event. And so it started off great. The first act was basically like a choir of singers that were singing a Hercules song, and I forget the name of the song. I forget what it is. I mean, I could pull it up if I cared, but I don't. And it was great. It was great. That Hercules sort of gospel choir, style, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Rocking way to start. Then they had a dude come on. I forget his name too, and he sung a Hercules song. I think it was a Hercules song. That was like slow and somber. And I'm like, wow, way to just entirely suck the energy that you just pumped into the room out of the room. It was terrible. And first of all, he was awful, and it took him half the song to warm up, and then he was fine. And then the ladies came back out, and they sung another song, and it was great. And then Josh Tomorrow came out, and you couldn't really see, his jeans weren't as tight as they usually are. You couldn't see the veins in his legs this time.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And, I know we'll get into more detailed stuff about this, but I do, and I hate, I do have an observation about Josh Tomorrow.
Okay.
He has to stop. It was 91 degrees in Orlando on Saturday, and he's wearing a zip-up sweater.
That sweater, dude, yeah.
And I have a text group with some friends, and, we're all like making comments about this. And I brought that up, and I said, guys, I know this probably seems really trite, like it's not something worth commenting on. I was like, but actually the sweater bothers me on a deeper level. And it's that I think it shows his artifice. It shows how fake and phony he is, because everything's a put on. Everything's a uniform. He doesn't dress for 91 degree weather. He dresses because he has this paternalistic image that friendly zip up sweater, Mr. Rogers image that he wants to portray.
Yeah.
And rather than be like, well, I'm in Orlando and it's 91 degrees, I should wear something weather appropriate. And that's and I'm like, God, he's just a big phony baloney. And it's just one more thing that makes him phony. Stop with the uniform. You can wear a polo. Okay. There's many things that you could wear, but he doesn't. He sticks to that no matter where he is or what he's doing. He's got that. And like, is he shopping at the all zip up sweater store? How many of these things does he even have? Like, I know you buy one, maybe two.
Everybody has a shtick. So the CEO, Iger, has that starched collar. His collar. So Iger wasn't even there. And remember when Chapek didn't show up to one, and it was all over the place. But Iger, he didn't even show up.
The difference is,
yes,
Chapek was scheduled to show up and canceled to go to Iger's retirement party. That was in that big CNBC article that just came out.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So Iger had his high starch collar and a suit jacket on for a video. He's at home clearly because there's a lot of space and a lot of warm lighting around. And all the millions of dollars he spent on redoing that. Like you have your suit jacket on. You're not even in front of anybody. I mean, you're doing a video, but you can't take your suit jacket off. So he always has the suit jacket, no tie, top 2 buttons undone. Right. Tomorrow has that same sweater. Always zipped halfway up, 3/4 zip. He's a 3/4 zip boy. So that's like, I don't know, there's a level where I feel like you can't go above. That's the glass ceiling for tomorrow. He can't do the suit jacket because Iger does it. So you got to do the sweater.
He's respecting
that's
the hierarchy.
what I think it is. Yes, absolutely. That's how you know.
I've seen Iger do the cardigan. A button cardigan. He'll do that when he's casual, Iger.
Ooh, cash Ig. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Sure. I'm looking for somebody to have clipped that speech from Iger, and I don't. I streamed it. I could pull it up, but it was, I don't know, man. Just the same platitudes like it normally is. But anyway, Josh Tomorrow kicks off the celebration, the parks experiences and products yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And he opens up by talking about what was announced last year. He spent a good 5 minutes talking about last year, which is, look, it's in the name, yesterday. But why? Why are we talking about what you already know, some of which didn't even happen? Like, why? Well, we're doing it.
Remember when we announced Mary Poppins, a play pavilion, a Spaceship Earth refurb? You guys remember that?
Oh, I remember. The Muppets came out. The Muppets were thrown about this whole thing, which I loved. So first they had Dave Goelz, who does Gonzo, and he does Benson Honeydew, and he does a bunch of other characters, right? And that was neat because that would be one man I would love to interview. He just seems like such a nice dude. And then the Muppets came out, but the technical issues abound at this company, especially at these things, especially the D23 stuff. And there are like companies who do live events, and they apparently Disney is not one of them, nor can they hire the people who do these live events to do it right, because the director in the booth it's like he forgot which camera was A and which camera was B, and he would literally make camera A hot while it's transitioning from the band to tomorrow, and then it was zooming out, and then he would switch over to the band, but the band is dark because they're not lit because they're not supposed to be on camera yet, and it was just confusing. It was chaos.
I kind of like that.
I like it to a certain extent, and then it gets old because I just want to watch the thing because it's taking me out. I'm not focusing on it. I'm focusing on what the heck is wrong. When the Muppets come out, so there's a high, like, wide camera where it gets the whole stage. It's sort of at like a 45-degree angle, so it's like pointing sort of down a little bit. So you see the whole entire stage floor, and there's Tomorrow, and there's Goals, and they bring out Tomorrow's like, oh, we have some friends. Why don't we welcome them out or whatever? And these 2 Muppeteers come out, and it's like Kermit and Piggy, and they're on Muppeteers are on these little like boards with wheels, dressed in black, and they're scooting along with their feet. And I'm going, we're not supposed to see this. This isn't what we're supposed to see. So the director quick cuts to another camera, and the camera's like adjusting to kind of crop out the Muppeteers to frame the Muppets like they normally are. And it was just, it kept happening over and over and over again. And it was painful. I felt bad for everybody.
Well, I have 2 things to say. One, I saw that. I caught video because, I'm on Twitter. I see all the video clips coming through, and I had never, ever, ever seen the puppeteer operating a Muppet in my life.
Ever. You see stills backstage of like Jim Henson.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, wow, I can't believe that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And so I saw that and I thought, I thought that was deliberate. And I couldn't figure out. I said, why are they like this? They're such terrible stewards of the properties that they buy. Like, let's just show the Muppets with a hand up their ass like that. They don't do that.
I thought it was deliberate too, until they started to correct for it.
Okay.
And then I said, oh, okay, I realize now.
Yeah.
It was a screw up because every time they came out, it was the live camera was reframing and zooming in and tightening up the shot to get the people out of it.
So why were the Muppets there? I'm assuming they were there to announce something.
You would think that. Well, see, in any normal instance, any normal event like this, you would bring out a special guest throughout the day and then announce, yeah, they're going to be back. Don't worry, you haven't seen the last of them.
Okay.
And then they come back and, Gonzo came out and, all the Sam Eagle came out, which is great. And Dr. Deadly, Uncle Deadly came out and whatever. All these Muppets, you love them, whatever. And that was it. Then the panel ended. And I said, man, I was on a Muppet high. I'm like, you know what? They didn't announce anything. They were just here, which I'm okay with because I like the Muppets. And to be completely honest with you, the Muppets were the best part of the entire day because they're professionals. What they say is very funny and they're just good. The part of the Muppets I didn't like is that every once in a while, one of the characters would come out and the Muppeteer's mic wouldn't be on. So you only were picking him up on the other two people's lav mics. And it was just heard him like this. It was just very awful. I couldn't, I felt bad for everybody involved. It was almost like the director didn't get the notes on what was going to happen, or he wasn't there during rehearsal or whatever.
Right.
And they just were winging it. It was very clear and it was odd. It was odd and uncomfortable, but that's out of the way. The first announcement, Jeremy, I know you're going to be excited about this. Ahsoka will become part of Star Tours. They're going to be filming Star Tours segments specifically with Ahsoka. They haven't announced what yet, but Ahsoka is, of course, the latest Star Wars TV series to be on Disney Plus.
Of course.
So look for Star Tours to expand with Ahsoka beginning next spring in Hollywood Studios, Florida, Disneyland Park, and Disneyland Paris.
Okay.
And then separately, you can meet and greet Ahsoka now, I think, at Star Wars Galaxy Edge at Disneyland. So a couple new characters, or one new character, some new things coming to Star Tours. Cool. Great.
Yeah.
Aside from Ahsoka, Asha from the new Walt Disney Animation Studios film Wish, which I don't think anybody really knows about, or anything about, I don't know what it's about, will also be coming to Epcot, Disneyland Resort, and Disneyland Paris. So you got 2 meet and greets now. That's good. It's a cool announcement, I guess. We're getting stuff.
What is she doing in Epcot?
That's a great question. I don't have an answer, but it's a great question. They did show some updates and some stills from the world of Frozen.
I want to back up for 1 second and just say, and I guess I guess this is a fan event, so it makes sense that they would tell us this stuff. But I don't necessarily know that it's an announcement that Disney characters will be in Disney parks.
Well, apparently it is. This is exactly what people were waiting for, I guess, or whatever. I mean, it's an announcement. It's an update. That's fine.
I don't want to. I don't want to beat them up too much about this because it is like a fan event. So like, this is what I guess you would tell them, but I don't know. It seems almost like a given. Like, oh, we're gonna have popcorn there too.
There will be oxygen at Epcot, everybody.
Yeah. But okay, I got it. A new character.
Yeah. World of Frozen looks pretty cool. They were going through, some of the rides. They're gonna have, or some of the things you can see within World of Frozen, which is blending Arendelle with the park's natural surroundings. And it was basically just global warming the ride, where it's like you can see literally there's a waterfall that you could the announcer was like you can see the melting glacier forming into a waterfall into the rivers of Arendelle. I'm like, oh, great! This is exactly all right. Yeah, that's probably not really. I don't know. Probably not really awesome if you're into climate change. Here it is.
Well, I mean, that's the story though, right?
Like
I know. Melts the ice, so I think that makes sense. And also, so okay, funny. That's fine. I saw the pictures of Arendelle
great.
Or the World of Frozen. It looks really impressive.
Yeah.
And really well done.
Yeah.
Contrast that with, I don't know if you saw San Francisco in the new.
I saw a still, the first still I saw today, and my stomach turned.
Well, did you see how shoddy it's put together? Like there's where they clamped on the pieces of the bridge. There's like metal on it, but it's like not properly aligned and there's screws missing.
No.
So it's like all slapped on. Yeah. People were tweeting it. So I'm like, oh man, that really stinks that they slapped that on there. But then Hong Kong and Paris are getting these really elaborate, gorgeous lands. And this was the tweet that got me in trouble, or got me some attention that I had to turn off Twitter because I retweeted the Disney Parks announcement showing all the photos of this new land in Hong Kong, Arendelle. And I said, so I'm something to this effect. I don't have it exactly memorized word for word, but I was like, so Hong Kong gets this full elaborate land and we got a really crummy overlay of an Epcot attraction that we all liked. Like, what's the strategy here? And I don't understand. And why are you telling that you're announcing this at a Florida event where you have tons of U.S. park goers? I mean, I would assume that the percentage of people at Destination D, I'm sure they've been to Hong Kong, but I don't think that they're annual pass holders. This is a U.S. event generally, and you are wowing everyone with what you're doing around the globe. Meanwhile, it was Walt Disney World that for the last 3 years kept the rest of this whole company afloat when the Hong Kong and Paris and Shanghai were closed, open. And so we get this overlay of Maelstrom that we loved in Epcot, which makes absolutely no sense because the story, first of all, isn't even Norwegian. It's Hans Christian Andersen, who is from Denmark. So we get that crowbarred over Maelstrom. And Hong Kong gets this land? What's going on? Why couldn't Magic Kingdom get an expansion like this?
Well, Magic Kingdom is getting expansions. We'll talk about that in a second. But
that's all. Well, okay, that's maybe. It's all maybe. This whole thing was true. We might do some of this. None of this was like we've greenlit this. We're building it. Here's a timeline. Here's the designs. It's like they have nothing to talk about.
It's funny that you
blue sky.
Well, it's funny you mentioned, Hong Kong and why, we're U.S. centric, and which is, absolutely true. Number one, it's parks around the world. You want to get people excited to go visit, right? But there were a lot of people in the chat because I had the D23 stream chat up on one computer, and I was reading it for a little bit, and people were really excited about Disneyland Paris. Like before it started, like, oh, I hope we get Disneyland Paris information. So there is a small, albeit small, amount of people who want to hear that kind of stuff.
Well,
I don't know.
That's true. Paris and Hong Kong are a different animal, though. Paris, it's almost as quick for me to get to Paris from New York as it is for me to get to LA. So, I mean, at one point I was a Paris annual pass holder. It's true, not that uncommon for people on the East Coast to fly 6 hours to Paris. It's 5.5 to get to LA. You know what I mean? Yeah. But how long does it take to get to Hong Kong, even from the West Coast? So it's a bit more removed. And also Hong Kong is, it's part of China, which it's not like going to France.
Yeah. I mean, why not? Right. And then they talked a little bit about the Hatbox Ghost coming to Haunted Mansion in Florida in late November. There was a lot of speculation about where the Hatbox Ghost would be, and they announced the announcement will be materializing in the Haunted Mansion as you pass the attraction's endless hallway.
Was there any audible feedback about that when they said that?
I can't remember. I don't think so. I think people applauded because they love the Hatbox Ghost. And this whole time, Tomorrow's doing the crowd work. He's like, right, you guys, right? Who loves the things, right? And everyone's like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I hate it when people do that because number one, it means you don't have anything to say. It's just you're filling time. Come on, give it up for the band. Okay, whatever. Everyone says that.
Did he say at any point? Sorry, sorry to interrupt you. Did at any point did he say, "How's everyone doing?" and get a tepid response and then go, "I can't hear you"?
I don't think so.
That's the worst thing in the world.
But someone else did something similar. Where it's like, how's everybody doing? Like, yeah, like, yo, what? Or whatever, something.
You guys can do better than that.
Something like that. I hate it so much. But it's awkward and it slows the whole thing down. I'm here and I don't give me bullet points, I guess. You can be creative and be, whatever. But the whole thing of yeah, right? You guys like this land, sure, right? It's like if you're not comfortable doing it, then don't do it. I don't know. Anyway, Hatbox Ghost, endless hallway. And someone said in the chat, I forget which chat it was, but it was like, that sort of messes with the timeline of Constance or whatever, because it was supposedly like after she killed her husband, then all the ghosts came or something like that. But the Hatbox, I don't know, some weird thing. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It was odd. Then over in DCA, a new world-jumping vehicle is coming to the next attraction in Avengers Campus to help transport superheroes into the multiverse. Brent Strong, who was the executive creative director at Walt Disney Imagineering, shared an early peek at the ride vehicle featuring a design that combines elements of Tony Stark's time suits with Xandaran jump points and Wakandan technology, which I'm sure means the world to you. Something you're very passionate about. You're very Wakandan technology kind of a guy. You got your degree in that. And then that was it. And then it says more details on this high-tech vehicle that'll then travel to new worlds are coming in the future. So the sharing the design was just, concept art. One image sort of looks like Tony Stark Iron Man suit. That's it. But we're getting a new ride in DCA.
Well, that's needed though, because isn't Adventures Campus like one
very
ride?
Small. Yeah. It's very, very small.
So that's good. You guys need a little injection.
Yeah, it was fine. It was like, okay, there you go. Cool, man. This is, I don't think I like this announcement, Jeremy. At Walt Disney World, the Country Bear Jamboree is getting new songs, and the Bears will be performing a new act in 2024. I'm sure you've heard this.
Yes.
Disney Imagineer Chris Beatty was on stage with Josh Tomorrow, and he said when the show debuts, the Bears will be reinterpreting favorite Disney songs in different genres of country music. Imagineers are envisioning the new experience as a homage to the classic musical reviews in Nashville, and they're working with Nashville musicians to get the authentic country sound. The Country Bear Jamboree will still have the fun and friendly tone fans enjoy with the same famous characters like Trixie, Big Al, and the others. What do you feel about this? I have opinions, but I want to hear from you.
Well, I'm glad that the Country Bears is staying.
That's the way that's what I took away from it also, trying to find a positive note in there. I'm glad it's staying.
I like that attraction. I think that attraction is very fun.
Yeah.
So the same, what I've been able to uncover is that the same inner Disney working group that decided that Splash Mountain was offensive set their sights on Country Bears and said there are things that are there that are inappropriate. For example, one of the songs is titled Blood on the Saddle. I don't know why, but it's a little strange. They do talk about shooting the one kid, if he please don't, mama don't shoot little Buford.
Yeah. I think those are
fun. Or maybe I'll shoot him instead or something.
You're not wrong. I think those are too lighthearted to take seriously though.
Well, I love it. I don't think it should go anywhere. I think it's fantastic. And you know what? I saw it as a kid. I didn't grow up. I never shot anyone. It didn't really affect me. I was able to sort of separate that properly in my head. Yes.
Yeah.
But so I am happy. What I heard though that sort of annoyed me is they're going to do interpretations of Disney songs. It's like, why don't you just announce that you don't have any more ideas? Like Harmonious is going to be Disney songs interpreted throughout the world. That's all they've got. They're not doing anything creative. And the thing about Country Bears is it was sort of a love letter to country music and bluegrass. And I feel like, I guess it still could be that. I'm just a little disappointed that, I don't know. I like that you could find all of those songs actually out there in the real world and it was them playing them. Sometimes it's nice to get a break from a whole new world. Like I don't need to see it on every ride and in every hotel room and in every restaurant I eat at, because then it just
walking around.
Yeah.
That was my take too. I was happy that they're keeping the ride, because there was that big kerfuffle about like, oh, they're going to get rid of it. Remember when that one website was saying, oh, it's confirmed they're getting rid of it.
Yeah.
No, they're not getting rid of it. I loved that ride. We went on that probably more times than any other ride, except the People Mover when we were in Disney World, and it was great. And the covers of like of country songs, it was great. It was done really well. What I didn't like, and so they played a little clip, a little video that the little package that they produced of the Nashville musicians recording the songs, and the song that they were doing was Bare Necessities. And my eyes rolled out of my head. It's like, and so I had the same exact response as you. The music sounds great. It's a fun song to play. It's like kind of like that thumping walking bass line or whatever. But why does it have to be a Disney song? We hear that song walking around the parks. We hear it, like you said, in the hotel rooms. We hear it in movies. We hear it all over the place. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it anymore. It's very much a palate cleanser. Country Bears was sort of a refresher. Come back. Not everything has to be existing Disney owned IP. I didn't like that.
There's on that, I think that Disney they have this idea that Disney songs are only Disney songs from their movies. And that's what frustrates me is Universe of Energy to me is a Disney song. Illuminations, Reflections of Earth is a Disney song. But you have people who come in from outside and they're like, well, that's not a Disney song. It's like, no, Epcot and all of that stuff that was never in a Disney movie is still the essence of Disney. It's so not Disney that it is Disney. And that's what like bothers me is like when I hear Blood on the Saddle, not that I hear it very often in my day-to-day life, but if it were ever to come on anywhere, because it is a real song that's out there, I would think of Disney. Any song that's in that, same like with the music that's in the Tiki Room. All of that's taken from real world, but I associate it with Disney. Disney's so iconic. It's like fireworks. Fireworks aren't invented by Disney or owned by Disney, but Disney has used them so much and so well throughout history that fireworks are almost a brand element of Disney, even though they've been around for way longer than Disney.
Yeah.
There is a positive side to this getting the Country Bears getting some love, even though we may not like the musical direction of it, is that what I understand is that the animatronics that are in the Country Bear Jamboree are very old. I think they're original to the park, so they're hydraulic based and they're very expensive to maintain. And so we were almost left with a choice of get rid of it because it's expensive to maintain. What they're doing is they're getting all new animatronics that use the modern servo motors, which are more realistic, but also much easier for Disney to maintain and less costly. So this investment almost secures the Country Bears for a long time going forward.
True.
I read this from someone on Twitter. So there is a benefit to it. The fact that they're making that investment in modern and that's reprogrammable. So it might be that perhaps we'll have this show for a while and then it might get updated and change. So I think that the investment could lay a foundation for a long future for the Country Bears.
I hope so. I really do. I hope so. However, I wonder what the draw for Country Bears is going to be. Do you want to go in and see rehashes of Disney songs? I don't know. Maybe most people do. Who knows? I don't necessarily. So when we go back to Disney World, if we ever go back, I would probably go like one time and be like, okay, I saw it because I had to. I don't know. Well, it's sort of like the Hall of Presidents, where like the content isn't really great, but the atmosphere is awesome, and so I'll just do that, I guess.
Well, hopefully, there was still a lot of really funny banter.
True.
Between the Bears, there was.
Yes.
I hope it's literally not just singing a whole new world. Hopefully, there's a comic element to it because
I'm sure there will be.
I would bust out laughing out loud in the Country Bears because the jokes are like they're funny to me. It was like a slapstick kind of thing. So I found it really entertaining apart from the music. So hopefully they can continue to keep that element of it, even if the music isn't exactly what I want to hear.
Fair enough. Speaking of new elements, I think this is coming to Magic Kingdom in Florida to Adventureland. It's a new Pirates of the Caribbean themed lounge. The first of its kind experience will extend the story of Pirates of the Caribbean. Imagineers are in the design process now, and more details are coming in the future.
Yeah, so this isn't greenlit.
No. Well, it's not greenlit. I mean, they're not done planning it, it sounds like. But this is what they're doing. Yeah, I don't know. It's in that weird, hey, we're doing it. There's one piece of concept art they showed, and it's, it's pirates in a bar. It's not really exciting. But I'm like, what does that mean? Like, why share this and not have any? You gave me the first layer, Pirate Caribbean bar, a lounge. Okay, will there be characters in there? Will it be food and drink? Like at one point, I wasn't even sure if guests were able to go inside. If it was just a thing that you saw, like a diorama or a walkthrough. I don't know. I had no idea. I was like, okay. You're not saying anything, so they give you the surface area thing, and that's it. It's like, why don't you? Can I hear something else?
Yeah,
just something like give me a level, because I'm not excited about a themed lounge because I don't know what that means. It doesn't mean anything to me.
Right. I mean, I'm hoping that it's analogous to the Skipper Canteen, where you go in, and skippers wait on you and do their sort of jokes from the Jungle Cruise boat.
I will never go there.
Why? It's so great. It's so funny.
I hate the jokes. That's the thing I hate about Jungle Cruise is the jokes, because they're not funny. I don't like it.
Some people take it for granted, but I love it.
Don't give me that.
So it's also got fantastic area music.
And whatever. Who cares?
So I think it's a really great. Like I could eat in Pecos Bill and just be in a room, or I could eat in here and have some theming. I think it'd be cool. They all get drunk. If you can go in there, look, they're trying to get more places to serve alcohol. I'm sure this is going to be a place where you serve alcohol. Pirates don't go in and order Kool-Aid. So I'm hoping that maybe I don't know. It could be cool. It's probably going to be impossible to get in. It's going to be like Oga's, and you're like, here's your 45 minutes are up. Are you done eating those root chips we disguised as your bits?
More Epcot news, Jeremy, and then maybe we'll take a break. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, at Epcot, the World Celebration neighborhood will begin welcoming guests this December. World Celebration will unite the front of the park, tying together the other two new Epcot neighborhoods, World Discovery and World Nature. This completion of the last of the park's 4 neighborhoods will be the latest major milestone multi-year transformation of Epcot. Our earlier road to Destination D23 story has details on the new experiences coming to the new land, including a new attraction, special entertainment merchandise, as well as a Zootopia-fied food and beverage items from Zootopia. So, World Celebration Neighborhood opening soon, and it's tying everything together. It's like the rug in Big Lebowski. It ties the room together. Are you excited about this?
Well, am I excited to see it? No, I'm excited for these walls to come down. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. It's like, Mr. Tomorrow, come on. It's been up for almost as long. They started this in 2019. Do you know what that's going to be? Here's what's going to be in there when the big reveal. Mm-hmm. One new building where it's going to be an event space, a statue of Walt, and trees. That's what's there. So yeah, am I excited to go in there? No.
You know what? There was a gal, I forget her name. She was up there. I think she was on the Imagineering panel or whatever, and she was like talking about this specific space. And because Tomorrow brought people out to talk about it, and she was literally talking about how when you get off like the monorail or you go into to Epcot, it's a big open space. So what they wanted to do is break that up a little bit with flower pots, with planters. So you have to go in and kind of separate, and it forces you to take in the space and look around and whatever. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. It's annoying that you have to maneuver around this stuff. Like the things that these design elements that they think do a thing don't do anything. It's not like I'm not going to be like, oh, we got to get in here. Oh my God, there's a pot here. Hold on, I gotta walk around. Oh my goodness! Now that I've slowed down, I can really take in the space. You're gonna look around and enjoy it anyways because you paid a lot of money to be here. I don't need this. I need shade.
Yeah, I mean it's a shame. We used to walk in and see an expansive fountain that was synced to music.
That would have been
And
so
now
cool, dude. Yeah.
that's gone. They
Right.
they tore it out, and they took 5 years to replace it with flower pots and a statue of Walt. Great. Am I excited about it? I'm excited for the walls to go away. I'm excited not to have to take a detour around the entire central core of the park to get to World Showcase so I can get a beer. Beyond that, I'm more lamenting it. I think it's a huge shame.
You just want to be
Also,
done.
they tore down half. It used to be a symmetrical. You had two buildings that like formed like half like C's, Communicore.
Right.
And in the center was the fountain. They knocked one down. Then they realized that was stupid, and they're now building a quarter of one back. So now we have one C and like a comma, and then Moana Journey of Water in the other part. So they've ruined the symmetry of the park.
Yeah.
And by the way, the other building that didn't get knocked down but got completely gutted is spectacular. It's gorgeous. It's where the new gift shop is and the new quick service. But it's beautiful. It's got they made it with like high floor to ceiling windows, light comes through. All they had to do was renovate the other side too. I don't understand what this knocking down was, and now rebuilding part that they didn't originally plan.
Yeah.
And so it's just we've been waiting 5 years, and we're getting sort of like a patched back together kind of attempt at bringing what it was when all they had to do was nothing. So am I glad it's over? I'm just glad it's over.
They shared some concept art of like the gift shop right there at the entrance, and you know it has elements of like older Epcot, and people in the chat were like, "Oh, that looks really cool," and I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I guess it's cool." But it's sort of like when a bad movie shows a clip of a good movie within their movie, like a character's watching a good movie, and you're like, why are they doing that? Because you never show a better movie in your movie. You don't do that. Come on now.
Yes.
Speaking of Journey of Water, that opens on October 16th, and apparently everybody at the panel got to go on an exclusive like premiere of it. So that's fun. Or everyone who showed up at the panel. Journey of Water is the new walkthrough experience, blah, blah, blah. Also on October 16th, Moana will arrive in World Nature and make her first appearance in her own dedicated space near the Journey of Water. So that's the third character meet and greet that they've announced on this panel, and that's great. Good for them, everybody. Why not? We're sticking with Epcot here. Test Track will be reimagined.
Yes.
You look excited. Imagineers along with teams from Chevrolet are reaching back into history for inspiration from the original World of Motion and bringing that spirit of optimism to the next iteration of the Test Track attraction. More to come in the future. Of course. So that's it. You don't get anything else.
Well, yeah, we don't know much. It's hard to formulate an opinion. And Here's the thing. On the one hand, I'm very optimistic and excited to hear that they would look back to the original attraction World of Motion for inspiration for the new version of this. However, Disney loves to use buzzwords that they think I'll like in order to get me on board with things. Right. So they throw Figment at us. They put Figment. Oh, let's do a Figment popcorn bucket. They don't invest in the Figment attraction. That thing is on its last legs.
I have a Figment thing to talk about too.
They all know we love Figment, so they just throw him at us and they just mention it. They always try to evoke Walt's words to justify what they've done to Epcot. So I like it if it's true. I'm skeptical of how far they'll take that. Having said that, General Motors is the original sponsor of that attraction, and they're still there. And that's first of all, that's the only reason why this is getting any money, because when they announced the Epcot overhaul, there was no mention of Test Track. Test Track is a relatively new attraction or new version of its attraction. So everyone's kind of surprised because this is like the third version. And on top of World of Motion, and there were things that they announced that they never did, like Spaceship Earth, but Spaceship Earth doesn't have a sponsor. UK Pavilion doesn't have a sponsor. Play Pavilion doesn't have a sponsor. So they all got the axe, and suddenly we're getting a new Test Track. Where's that from? It was never part of it. And in fact, Bob Iger even said, he was like, when this thing, the center's done, Moana in the center, he's like, we're done with the Epcot overhaul. Anything you thought we were getting, it's over. And now they're like Test Track, because GM's sponsorship is up, and GM must be footing the bill for a new attraction.
Sure, that's how it works.
And that's fine, because Disney has no money there. All right, I'm not even going to get into it. Fine, they're going to pay for it. My belief now is that no one left at Disney has any institutional knowledge or pride in what the company ever stood for or meant, particularly Epcot. My hope is that there are other people in other companies like GM that will force Disney's hand to make something that is a true vision of the future and more Epcot focused. Maybe that'll happen. I don't know. If I worked at GM, I would be like, here's what you're getting tomorrow. You're getting World of Motion 2.0, and that's what we're paying for. And you can just, get out lost with anything else.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break, everyone. We're going to come back. We're going to finish up with all of the parks and experiences announcements, and to dig in a little bit of other news. So hang on, everyone. It's In Depth. We'll be right back.
In Depth, reporting Disney news that's probably not made up.
All right, thanks for hanging around, everybody. We're sticking with Epcot here, Jer, for our announcements. A new nighttime spectacular called Luminous, The Symphony of Us, will debut on December 5th, 2023. Jeff Valle, president of Walt Disney World, is with Josh on stage to announce the brand new show that'll feature fireworks, fountains, lasers, lighting effects, and music. And I will say, I saw this part, of course, of the announcements or whatever, and this man came out. They didn't say who he was. I had no idea who he was until reading the recap on D23 website. There was no lower thirds to explain who these people were.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I had no idea. No idea who anybody was if they didn't hear them say their name. But yeah, anyway, so there you go. Luminous Symphony of Us. You'll have to report in and let me know if it's any good.
This was the announcement I've been waiting for. I
Really?
have been on the edge of my seat for
Okay.
this, because that my whole entire life revolved around Illumination's reflections of Earth for years and years and years. And so now we have, this new, and then they tortured me with Epcot Forever, which is like, now I like it because I just realized how much worse it can get. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I like it now, even though I hated it. But I've seen, then they shoved Harmonious down my throat, and I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. Now, Luminous, they come out with. I know that I've seen pictures of the new barges. They're much smaller. The infrastructure for this will not be the eyesores, and it looks like from the aerial footage I've seen, these new barges have 2 outboard motors on the back of each one, which tells me that they are meant to move and not be there all day.
Praise Chapek for that design.
Thank you, Chapek, for that.
Yes.
Now, okay, so that's one thing. Now, I have heard mixed things. There's one Disney did not specifically say that this will be Disney music. They said lasers, lights, fires, blah, blah, and music. Okay. So that makes me hopeful that this might be an original score, something along the lines of Illuminations, written by the genius Gavin Greenaway. I would love that. I don't think we're going to get that because they just can't seem to come up with anything better. And so I think it's going to be Disney music. Now, here's what I am hanging my hat on. The subtitle of Luminous. First of all, let's talk about this title. Okay. You were so close. You could have just called it Illuminations. Okay. But I swear they did this. They did this to me. They were like, let's just go almost there and call it Lumen. And then we're going to stick on the end of Harmonious because we can't get over this whole us, the symphony of us, luminous, harmonious. Stop putting it on my shoulders. I am not the magic. I am not the story. I want to go and be told a story or see an experience. I'm sick of this being about me. If I were the magic, I don't need to pay all this money for you. Stop making it about me.
For once, it's not all about me.
Can it not be? Except obviously it's all about me because they named it just to annoy me. So Luminous. Okay, so they're annoying me with the name. Fine, it's close enough to Illuminations. Just call it Illuminations, you idiots. So anyway, the subtitle though is called The Symphony of Us. Now that's interesting, and I'm hanging my hat on that word symphony because one of the criticisms that I had of Harmonious, there were many, the lack of a story, the horrible infrastructure. It was a calamity. The pyro sucked. I mean, you can't. There's so many criticisms of Harmonious. Like I can't. Its ending was just basically a crash. So fine. But one of the things that I think could have been a Band-Aid to make that show drastically better would be just have it be instrumental. If you got rid of the vocals, that show jumps in terms of how good it is. But like the vocals were just so awful. And the few moments where there weren't vocals was when I really did find myself enjoying the show. They were few and far between. So my hope is that Disney recognizes this also and has decided to call it Symphony because it's a symphony and that it won't be drowning in vocals. If this is Disney music just interpreted with exotic instruments from around the world, using an orchestra, and we get to hear all the different ways these songs could be played, fantastic. I'll take it and I'll go home and I'll shut up. Okay. But if this has more of these vocals, I can't do it and I'm out.
You're out. Yeah. I don't blame you, man.
So that's my thoughts on Luminous. You know, December 5th is coming. I'm a little nervous. Are you going to be there
on the night? Are you going to be there opening night?
No, I'll be on a work trip that
oh,
week.
Man.
I will be in London.
Be monitoring X, though.
Oh, I will be monitoring X for sure.
And Twitter. Jeremy, I know you've been dying for this one as well. Disney Adventure is the name of Disney Cruise Line's newest ship. Isn't that exciting? And I basically called it like on the stream. They were like, we had the wish, we have the thing. Can anyone? I think it was like, can you guess what the new one is? And I'm like, it's gonna be something like magic. And I don't know if I said adventure, but in my mind, I almost said adventure. And I was like, no, I don't want to be too negative. Adventure. It's adventure. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? These are the buzzwords. In 10 years, there can be another one. It's going to be Illumination.
Well, they're not going to be able to build any more cruise ships because when they hit adventure, that's it. They don't have any other words.
Oh, well, yeah, you might say that. Disney Adventure is the 7th ship in the Disney Cruise Line fleet, and work is currently underway in Germany. It will be the first Disney ship to sail from Singapore and throughout Southeast Asia, so, you know, you have to fly to go get it, and feature the Disney service, storytelling, and entertainment everyone knows and loves, blah, blah. Thomas Malzone, president of Disney's Signature Experiences, is joining Josh on stage to share updates on Disney Cruise Line as it prepares for a period of growth unlike anything ever experienced before. Right now, Jeremy, there are 3 brand new ships in development along with Disney Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point, a brand new island destination. Disney teams are collaborating with talented artists and cultural advisors in the Bahamas to shape an experience that celebrates the natural beauty, traditions, and artistry of the one-of-a-kind nation. So we're having 3 brand new ships coming.
So this Disney Adventure is the ship that wasn't planned for. It's the one that they bought as like a closeout.
Yeah, and so they were talking about it, how it was inspired by this and designed for this, and I think it was RGH in our chat was like, wasn't this the one that they had to pick up because it was canceled? It wasn't designed for anything.
Yeah.
But, you know, what they showed was cool, and I always love shipbuilding videos when they are putting the pieces together.
Yes.
They build them in sections, and they stick them together.
Like stick them together,
yeah. Yes. It's like, what happens if they don't meet up? I don't know, that would freak me out. But so that part was, you know, fun of the panel, but, you know.
Well, I think that's great. You know, great.
I think it's great too.
I think a Disney cruise is great. The problem is these ships are so big.
They're too big. The size bothers me. You taking an elevator on your cruise ship? I don't like that. I think that's weird. It's something highly unnatural about that.
Yeah, a super cruise ship, you know, the first 4 Disney cruise ships, the first 2 are actually not. Now, when you look at them, they look positively minuscule.
Yeah.
Then the second 2, but these are so big, and I don't want to be hauled around. I mean, you're already kind of just being like hauled around like cattle. But now with this, it's just like, here we go. It's moving. I don't know. It just feels a little
too much.
Too big. It's too big.
I
too
agree.
big.
A new look at what's coming to Fantasy Springs at Tokyo Disney was revealed. The 8th themed port of Tokyo Disney Sea will feature Rapunzel's Forest, Peter Pan's Neverland, and Frozen, all inspired by, of course, the movies or whatever. Fantasy Springs is scheduled to open in 2024. So there you go. Fantasy Springs, Tokyo Disney Resort. Bruce Vaughn, Chief Creative Officer at Walt Disney Imagineering, joins Josh on stage for a special blue sky look at what's possible when dreaming big at the Disney parks. This is like what we had last year with like, we could do a land of all villains, could do all of this. You just never know with us. We're crazy. We're like the Joker. We're insane. Future expansion plans for Magic Kingdom in Florida are the largest ever for the park, according to Bruce. Imagineers are looking to tell stories beyond Big Thunder Mountain, similar in scale to things like Star Wars Galaxy Edge and Pandora: The World of Avatar, adding new attractions, restaurants, shows, and more. To me, this seems like probably the most boring thing that you could do. I mean, Big Thunder Mountain, I mean, it's fine. I don't know. I don't see it as the backdrop for a story involving a new land like Galaxy's Edge. Like on that scale or Pandora. I don't see it.
It's already part of a land. It's called Adventureland.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
sorta. Frontierland, rather.
Yeah, Frontierland, because, yeah, it's been the thing, right. I never noticed that. I never realized that.
I don't know. I think that they don't have enough to announce. The problem is they've set this up as an announcement thing, and they've trained the people to expect announcements.
Right.
And when they don't have things to announce, they have to like sort of lean back on this rather than say, we're going to make a couple of announcements and then we're going to give you a lot of great info. They also didn't used to do these panels where they just made announcements. They used to sprinkle them in. So, for example, I was talking earlier about the what's it called? The Jungle Cruise panel.
Yeah.
And in the Jungle Cruise panel, they announced, they made some announcement about the Jungle Cruise. I can't remember what it was so long ago, but they worked it in. It wasn't like you went there to hear news. You went there to hear the stories, and they were like, by the way, Jungle Cruise is getting a new story or a new joke or like something like that. So the news was
a new joke. That would be news. Yeah.
So
I agree. Yeah, it's almost like the parks panel announcement. It's not even a panel, it's just Josh talking. It's almost like that sort of took the steam out of everything else. I mean, because they had a specific Disney cruise panel. That the announcements of the adventure should have been in there. You would think, because or else why would you tune in? I tuned in because I assumed we were going to get announcements, but we didn't. So the whole thing, I learned my lesson with the Destination D23.
Well, anyway. I have to ask, we've talked about, sorry, we can get back onto it, but we've talked about, how park attendance has maybe been a bit lackluster over the past 6 months. And I have to wonder, is attendance at these going to start to suffer? Because number one, you can live stream it from home for free.
Some of it, yeah. Yeah, not all of it, but yes, you're right.
And two, you go and all the announcements are kind of lackluster at best. So it's like, why did I pay money and fly here for this? To be kind of annoyed. I've never found these expos or events to be particularly compelling, and it seems like they've only gotten worse.
They have gotten worse. They aren't compelling. I will say, what was I going to say? I just completely lost it. Oh, everyone who attended that parks panel got $100 Disney gift card. That's and another thing, like there was I think it was the Avengers panel or whatever. They were pushing a Hasbro toy. It was like a 2-foot toy. It looked awesome. For $200, and like everyone got something. They were giving stuff away, so that's cool. But every time they pan to the audience, just you have these, boomers, like literally boomers, holding their phones up, just recording the whole thing from like the front row, just like this, like on their phone the whole time. And then now you can go on YouTube and you can see all the footage, and it's all bad. But it's all these Disney bloggers thinking that they know what they're doing.
Right.
A new show based on Zootopia is being created for the Tree of Life Theater at Disney's Animal Kingdom. The current concept for the new Zootopia experience has guests visiting the different biomes you only glimpse in the film, traveling along with Judy Hopps, Nick Wilde, and other characters. Imagineers are currently finalizing the concept, and more details will be coming in the future, which is the running joke of this whole thing. But it's going to be a projection-based thing at the Tree of Life Theater about Zootopia. Not a land, not a ride, not anything. Projection. So
well, it's a theater. So of course it's a projection. It's a 3D show. It's it's currently a Bug's Life.
What do I know? What do I know?
You used to have it at California Adventure, the same ride. It was a 3D movie.
Oh yeah,
and
no, that was cool.
The wasps would poke you in the back, and like
that was great. I didn't know that was for me. The Tree of Life is like the Tree of Life. I thought it was a projection on that, and you stand there and watch it.
The Tree of Life has an inside, and it's a theater.
See, I didn't know this, and they didn't friggin' say that. They don't specify in the thing, so I don't know. I'm going. Oh,
well, that's why I'm telling you. It's in the theater, so so it's tough to be a bug. Goes away. Poor Flick, right. He can't catch a break. Every time Imagineering looks at Flick, they're like, "You are on limited time, buddy."
Remember that lady who wrote in several years ago, seeing if she can come on and talk about her petition to have Flick character meet and greet in a specific place or whatever? I bet she's throwing a fit by now.
Oh, she cannot be happy.
Okay, just in new experiences inspired by Encanto and the fan favorite adventurer Indiana Jones are both being considered for the reimagined land at Disney's Animal Kingdom. While Disney Imagineering is planning to reimagine Dino Land USA into a new land inspired by a region sometimes referred to as Tropical Americas. I don't know why, it just sounded like a Trump quote. This region sometimes referred to as a Tropical America. As part of the research, Imagineers are looking at some of the most biodiverse areas on the planet in the regions just north and south of the equator here in the Western Hemisphere, the northern part of South America stretching up into Central America. So, I mean, okay, makes sense. I don't like Indiana Jones being in sniffing distance of Encanto. That just doesn't feel right. But they both take place in that area, kind of, so it's fine, I guess. But
what the hell does Indiana Jones have to do with the conservation message of Animal Kingdom? I don't get this.
I mean, Encanto has no message either, other than don't be a grandmother who is a jerk and stand up to your older generations when they tell you no.
That's the new.
That's the message. Right?
Is that really the message of Encanto?
No, the message of Encanto is probably like family or whatever, but it was basically the message is everyone has magical powers, but the grandmother doesn't want everybody to be who they are. So she locks that down and makes everybody do what they want. So like Isabella is the popular one, but she doesn't like it. And the other one is really strong, but she doesn't really like it because she doesn't want to be the strong one. She wants to, be cared for too. She has feelings, right? So Mirabelle is the main character, basically finds this out by going to each one to talk about Bruno, and the whole thing is just dumb. And then so Mirabelle doesn't have any powers, but then her power is bringing the family together. So at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, the grandma was like, "Hey, sorry for being kind of a jerk to everybody. You can all be who you want," and then everyone's happy. So really, the villain is the grandmother.
Sounds like a perfect fit for Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, I know, right? The only animal thing that has to do with anything is like the mice that Bruno has, and then the little boy can talk to jungle animals. That's it. There's nothing animals about it. It's pretty dumb. And then Indiana Jones is literally just a colonizer, right? He goes in actively into the opening scene of Indiana Jones. The first one, the Raiders of the Lost Ark, is him stealing an idol that is actively being worshipped by tribesmen, protected by these tribespeople. And he's like, talking about stuff belonging in a museum. It's like, no, it belongs where it is. Stop looting ancient civilizations, dog. What are you doing? Anyway.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
I don't know. It's so good. You should watch some of these classic movies, man. You might actually enjoy something.
I've seen parts of Indiana, to be fair. I don't understand why this is going to Animal Kingdom. What are they doing? Only Disney. Someone said this on Twitter. Leave it to Disney to not be able to be successful selling dinosaurs to children. It's like Dinosaurs
That's
are like
true,
one of the
man.
most
That's pretty
popular
funny.
things amongst kids. Look at Jurassic Park and that series and World. Disney somehow flubbed it and can't figure out how to sell dinosaurs in an animal park. It's so ridiculous. There are so many creative and unique things they could do. And now instead, they're going to take what is a great ride, which is Dinosaur, and they're going to duplicate something that already exists in Disneyland that is totally thematically off for this park. And I'm really annoyed by it. And everyone's like, oh, it's okay. I'm like, the thing's constantly broken down. Have you ever been to Disneyland? Any of you dopes? It's never open. The ride's constantly down. You want that? Great. Have fun. I'm so annoyed by this. This actually, and the thing is, like, I have been upset for the last 5 years because these Imagineers have torn apart Epcot. And my last refuge of good theming was Animal Kingdom. And it was the last thing that I was like, you know what? I can still go here and it's great and it's so well done. And now they've all set their sights on this and they're going to shit all over this too.
Well, you know what, Jeremy? Let's end the last announcement from the parks panel with something that should bring a tear to your eye, tear of joy, and a smile to your otherwise, jack-o'-lantern face. Figment. You can now meet and greet Figment. Figment is now a character walking around, which actually was really cute. So they were talking about the Disney Adventure, and they picked a winner from the audience to win a trip for like her and three other people, the winner and three other people or whatever, to go on. I think it was even the Disney Adventure, to be honest with you. And it was this lady, she gets up, she was like cosplaying as like Figment or whatever. So it's really cute. It was like nice, and she was very overwhelmed, and it was, it was nice. It was a nice moment. So there was that. Have you seen the character of Figment? Have you seen this character? the meet
in the
and
ride?
greet?
Sure.
No, the meet and greet character.
Oh yeah, I've seen that too.
I would like to share the screen with you.
Oh please.
Oh God, where is it? There it is.
Like,
I mean,
oh, God.
I literally, if you go back on my stream, I literally burst out laughing when this abomination came out. Because first of all, look at these eyes. Look at these spooky eyes of tomorrow.
I know,
just
he's like a
dead inside doll eyes. This lady over here just looks freaked out to all hell. But Figment looks, I mean, the person's head is here. You can see it bulging out of the upper torso.
This costume.
And when this thing walks around, the head flops. It's terrible. The torso is completely out of proportion to the rest of this thing's body. It's disgusting. It's embarrassing. And I hate it. I absolutely loathe it. It is when you order a Figment costume on Wish, this is what you get. It makes no sense. It looks counterfeit. I don't like it. It's terrible. They did an awful job at this.
This is exactly right. It does look counterfeit. In New York, it's sort of famous that when you go to Times Square, there's people in like counterfeit Mickey and Minnie costumes walking around, and you can like pay them to like take a picture with you, but you never would because they look like child molesters.
Yeah.
And then like
we have that in Hollywood too, where it's like they get aggressive if you don't tip, and the tip is $5.
This looks nothing like Mickey Mouse. Like, are you kidding? It just looks like a rat. And like, and then
you sleep in this costume. Clearly,
you always see the guy like smoking with the head under his arm, like, and he's like counting ones.
Oh, sure.
Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
So that's what this is. This looks like those. It has the quality level of those. It doesn't look like Figment. Figment's actually supposed to be pretty rotund. This looks like a Figment that's done on a diet.
It looks like it was filmed in 16:9 ratio and then stretched and cropped to fit a 4:3, where it's like, all you movie heads know what I'm talking about. It's like letterbox version, but then you watch it on TV and it's like they just take the sides, crop it, and stretch it up to fit to remove the black bars. Horrendous.
How in the world is Josh tomorrow in Florida in a zip-up sweater on stage all day and in a gray sweater, no less, and I don't see one pit stain? I don't get it. I would be like, the pit stains would be down to my hips.
It's probably very cool in there. The other fashion thing I saw, what a lot of people were doing is like this man. So this is the guy who I said was introduced, who nobody knew what he was, Jeff Vale or whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of jeans and a blazer and a t-shirt underneath. That was like the work casual for this event.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I noticed Bruce Vaughn had that too.
Yeah, and it's like, can we not do this? I don't know why it bothered me, but anyway, There you go, Figment. I'm sure. Please, next time you go, I really want you to go get a picture next to Figment, please. And I'm going to frame it. I'm going to put it up here.
I'm not doing that. First of all, I mean, by the time I go back down there, the line will be 5 minutes. But
I'm not doing that.
I am not doing that. But it's funny because when they announced this, my friend texts me and she goes,
gone.
She was like, she goes, oh God, tomorrow all of Twitter is just going to be flooded with people with that 3-hour line filled with all those mutants. She was describing all the people at Destination D as mutants. And I was like, I fell off my chair laughing so hard because I just I never thought of them as, I would never call them mutants. They're not mutated, but she just couldn't think of another word to call these adults and like a prophecy, like Nostradamus. The next day, Twitter was filled and the wait went 5 hours to take your picture with Figment.
With this abomination Figment, oh my goodness!
5 hours it got up to, and eventually they had to close the line. And then there's videos that came out on Twitter. This cat, wherever they've got him in some tunnel, and that costume is too unwieldy because he keeps wiping out. Like Figment comes out and he's like, whoa, falls over, and then the handlers have to come and help him up, and everyone goes, oh, what's happening? So it's it's a whole disaster. But there's so many videos of all these Twitter influencers getting their picture taken with Figment, and you're just like, it's not like, guys, it's so weird. But once all the influencers are done, probably by this Friday, the line's going to be 5 minutes for Figment. Who cares?
It's almost like if you want to do the world a favor, just announce a new weird esoteric character. Wait for all the Disney influencers to go wait in line and then drop a bomb on the place. It's just because the weird economy that has sprung up around Disney online things. I mean, I know, we're a show, we get paid, we get sponsors and whatever. We talk about Disney, but it's the fakeness that I don't like. It's the sanitized, created, inauthentic joy that these people think that they're showcasing about the parks and about the experiences. And it's so obviously fake. And I don't understand why other people watch it and engage in it. Because it's not real. It's not, everybody looks the same. All the women have the same, blended makeup, and they are cookie cutter of one another because that's what they've been watching other people. So they copy the exact thing. And then eventually it's like training AI. Eventually all the stuff is just going to be written by the same thing. It's all going to sound the same. We're all going to look the same. All these influencers look the same. They all say the same thing. They all do the camera. I'm at Disneyland. I got to get a nice treat for Disney. Huh? Cute. I'm so cute. Ooh, look at this merch. It's so great. It's all the same. Why do we do why does this exist? It can't, it's not entertaining. It can't.
I don't understand why it exists, but these people, they rack up the followers, and I've seen people, they're eating the same cheddar cheese soup from the Canada Pavilion that we've been eating since 2004. It's the same stuff. You walk around this Food and Wine Festival, nothing's, and they're like, I was there, the last time I was there, I'm walking out of the park because I was like, I've had it. I'm getting out of here. I'm not staying for any fireworks. I want to go home and drink a martini on my terrace because I just don't want to be here. That's how much I love this park. And as I'm walking out, I see a girl, and she's like, she's got her phone. She's like, here I am at Epcot, and we're about to try our newest. It's like, what are you doing? Who's watching that?
A lot of people, and that's what bugs me. And I will say that it's got to be, when you run across people like that, it ruins the experience of being in the park. Like these people who do this in the park, who tape stuff, they don't care about other people. They don't care that they're ruining the experience for everybody else. Now I have to sit and listen to your stupid act because you're eating cheddar soup. Great. Cool. How about not do that? There's one person I've ever seen that doesn't do that. I mean, she'll like do it, but she's quiet about it. She's reserved about it. She's not like basically on a bullhorn going, and like broadcasting to the world. I don't like it.
I guess they're just the opposite side of the coin of this show, because we're
negative,
talking about the same crap. We're just like not there and not happy about it.
What's interesting? Watching the chat from the stream on Saturday. Excuse me. There were a lot of people jumping in and sort of poo-pooing things, and there were a lot of people going, "Oh, why are you so negative? This chat's so negative. Everyone's so negative," and people were very stoked about the weirdest, mildest stuff. And I sort of thought about it, and I thought about us, and I thought about me specifically, and this show, and opinions and whatever. And I'm thinking it's not negativity. If you love something enough, if you're interested in it, you're gonna look at the stuff you don't like, and you're gonna talk about it, and you're gonna question it. And that's all we're doing. And people in the chat, they weren't even being very negative. Like, wow, this doesn't look very good. So for us to sit here and say that Figment doesn't look great, it's not being negative. It's pointing out a fact that it doesn't look great. Like the proportions are off. And Disney is very weird, this fandom. And I think it's not just Disney. I think Taylor Swift fans are like this. I feel like Beyonce fans are like this. There's a lot of people that are like this. Game of Thrones fans are like this too. Walking Dead. If you point out things that are obviously not kosher or coherent with what the thing is trying to portray, these diehard fans, it's almost like you're offending them.
That's exactly
odd.
Because these people have made Disney their identity. Disney is not only it's not only their identity, it's their religion. And people defend religion against all logic. It requires it, because there's not a lot logical about religion. And that's part of what, if you're a person of faith, like that's sort of what it takes. That's why they say it's faith. But if you're so when you attack someone, if you have taken this on as your personality, and you have bumper stickers, and every picture of you has ears on, and the sign in your kitchen says, "In this house we let it go," and we, like those. Have you seen that on Etsy?
No.
In this house and it's written in that Disney font, and it says like all the things. It's like lyrics from every song. People like, "We always smile, and we let it go, and we march to," and like, "In this house." So you have now made this your personality. So if someone comes along and says it's not that great, you are going to take that on as a criticism of you, because this is who you've defined yourself as now.
Yeah.
So I guess that's it. I understand why they do it. I think it's completely lunatic.
Speaking of things that are good to defend and good to consume, summer is here, and our friends at the 21st Amendment are celebrating the return of the warmer days with their popular and everyone's favorite seasonal beer, Hell or High Watermelon Wheat. The brewers at the 21st Amendment brew an American wheat beer with real watermelon juice, creating a refreshing, fruity, and quenching beer, or what they affectionately call summer in a can. Hell or High Watermelon Wheat will make any weekend barbecue or beach time activity that much better. So get it before the summer's gone, everybody. And when coming out here to the California Bay Area, be sure to stop in at the 21st Amendment's San Francisco Brew Pub at 563 2nd Street, just 2 blocks from Giant Stadium. And also, be sure to visit the Brewery Tap Room just across the bay in San Leandro with an outdoor beer garden. It grows beer, Jeremy. All right, I'm talking. Tell me a story.
To read you. Well, first, before I tell you my story, which is brief, I'm going to read you a full "In This House" Disney sign.
Oh, please!
You can get these on Etsy. You can also get them on Amazon.
You have my address, I'm sure.
I'm totally getting you this. In this house, we let it go, because Hakuna Matata and all the bare necessities will always be our guide to infinity and beyond. All it takes is faith, trust, and a little bit of pixie dust. We believe in happy endings, okay? And we know that life is always better under the sea, because in this house, we do Disney. That's so... I'm going to tell you something, though. I'm nervous.
Well, hold on.
Because someone probably has this sign.
I bet you for sure. Well, of course. That's just, I'd like to think our crew, our listeners are from every point on the spectrum of Disney fandom. We do have a lot of very passionate Disney fans who will probably roast you specifically for this.
Yeah, and
but somehow you get away with it.
Kimmy.
I get the hate mail and the listener drops, but you can get away with it because you're likable.
I'm sure someone on Twitter this weekend, someone said I'm an a-hole just for a tweet. Someone retweeted it and said, "This, what an a-hole," and then someone else said, what a moron.
What was the tweet?
But you know what? They can't tell my wonderful personality over Twitter.
That's right. What was the tweet?
The one where I was complaining about how Epcot got screwed over with its Frozen ride.
Imagine being called an a-hole and a moron for expressing your opinion about a park. About a theme park ride.
I know.
Come on, dude.
Yeah, I think, well, it shows who the real a-hole is.
Yeah, me.
But also, my comment was about Hong Kong. But it was all the Disneyland Paris people. People from Disneyland Paris were going crazy on me on Twitter because they have a complex about it because they're getting the same land. So I was just saying, Hong Kong doesn't deserve this and Disney World does. Essentially, I didn't say that exactly, but that was the gist. But the Paris people got their panties in a ruffle because they basically took that on. Jeez. Because they're getting it too. And so they took that even though it wasn't directed at them. So I loved it so much. Yeah. And I was like, this is too good. So, well, speaking of Paris, this is my news, is that after a long closure, the Disneyland Hotel at Disneyland Paris will finally be reopening after, I think, almost a 3-year-long closure for a refurbishment. It closed, I think, in March of 2021. Okay. And so now finally opening January 25th, 2024. They have released images of it. And I'm going to tell you, here's where I will not be negative, because I have been very critical of what Disney has done to the hotels in Disney World and made them very bland and they all look like a West Elm.
Yeah.
They didn't do that here. They've almost gone to the other extreme. It's so gaudy and over the top, like Palace of Versailles in there. Like the beds are all covered in those fabrics and like Louis the 16th's bed and Marie Antoinette. It's so like overly French with the curves. There is no detail missed. It's Rococo in style. It's so overly done. I absolutely love it. It's full on immersion.
Why am I not surprised?
Because it looks like no other hotel you are ever going to stay at in the world. It doesn't look like a Home 2 Suites by Hilton. I think they've absolutely knocked it out of the park. I'm looking at the pictures. I think it looks fantastic. Even the lobby. The lobby has a few elements that I think are a bit too modern, given the way the styling of the bedrooms looks literally like Louis the 16th's bedroom. But I'm going to take it. Fine. I think overall it just looks absolutely wonderful and I'm thrilled. I'm also thrilled because now I've never stayed there, but this hotel is very unique because it's actually the entrance to the park. You walk under it. And so a lot of the rooms have views down Main Street. I mean, it's fantastic.
God, I would love that. Oh, absolutely love that.
Bar that has a pianist outside. So I'm hoping Heist Van Winklehoff will be back soon. He's the pianist who does his Sunday live. He's been doing it all through COVID. He does his live piano request show. He was always playing there. So hopefully he'll be back outside of the lounge where I like to get a little old fashioned or a Manhattan. And so I'm just really thrilled that this is back. It's a beautiful hotel. It actually kind of has a Grand Floridian look from the outside, but it's definitely a landmark hotel. And,
how about this?
Heaping praise upon the Imagineers.
Yeah, sounds great. Like Zach Ridley.
If you have to be able to afford, I think something like at least $900 a night because that's how much it is.
God, but also kind of, I mean, if you're already going there, it might as well be worth it.
Might as well be worth it, but also I think that's still less than the new Pixar Pier Hotel, which is not as well themed as Disneyland Hotel in Paris.
Tara and I have been Disneyland Hotel Paris. You were saying,
yes,
yeah. So we were planning our trip in January, getting prices, and concierge level at the Disneyland Hotel was $850 a night.
At the Disneyland Hotel in
Anaheim. Yeah. Paradise Pier was slightly less than that.
Paradise Pier should not be more than $225 a night. And
Yeah,
that's the high season, by the way. Like, what are they doing? Who is paying that?
I don't know, man. Here's the thing. I just figured it out. Esplanade in Disneyland, get rid of it. Build a hotel right in the middle. It'd be a very small hotel.
Yeah.
High. So you can have every room has a theme, has a view of the has a view of the Main Street either side, right? Buena Vista Street and Main Street. And Esplanade would be a tunnel, so it'd be shaded. So everyone would appreciate it down on the ground level. I don't know how the logistics, I'll let the masters work it out. I have no idea. The parking lot would be insane. You have to dig way underground. Who cares about an Esplanade? Hotel. There you go, right there.
I think you're on to something.
Thanks, Jeremy. I'm on something, that's for sure. Whoa, modeling Disney. What's up, dude? Miles, haven't talked to you in a while, dude. Oh, thanks, man.
Oh, yeah, you have a Hatbox Ghost right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Damn. Okay, before we leave, I have a real quick quiz for you.
Oh.
We're talking about San Francisco.
Yes.
Which Big Hero 6 character are you most like, Jeremy? By the way, I'm instead of doing this, instead of like talking about the Chapek Iger story that we already kind of talked about, whatever, I want to do this because I know you've never seen the movie, and I think it'd be very funny. I've
absolutely seen Big Hero 6. I love it.
Have you?
Sure.
Well, this isn't as funny anymore. I didn't think you've seen it. You've seen this, but not Indiana Jones. I don't like you.
Big Hero 6 is because Big Hero 6 is good.
You're not a real person. You are not. You are an alien. You're like an Earth girls are easy. You're trying to assimilate into our culture, but you can't do it.
I'm from France. I'm like the Coneheads.
We come from France. Okay. Well, here you go. I dropped my ring. Whatever. Which superpower would you rather have, Jeremy?
Okay.
The ability to make super armor, the ability to heal, the ability to move fast on wheels, or to breathe fire.
Oh, I guess. Heal.
Okay. What is your most formidable skill? Computer engineering?
Mm-hmm.
Comforting people? No. Mechanical engineering or staying calm?
Computer engineering.
Okay. What would you most like to invent? A way off this show? No. Microbots? A new way to heal people? A bike that goes fast? Or a large lizard? First of all, you can't invent a large lizard. What does that mean?
Where did you find this quiz?
On the D23 website.
Well, also, like, it's kind of obvious who I'm going to be, or like you could pick who you're going to be. Like, it's not like you're gonna not know. They're all pretty obvious. Well, it's like saying, like, which character in the Little Mermaid are you? Are you obsessed with humans? Are you red?
Do you follow the rules?
Yeah. Can you sing?
So go on. What do you want to invent?
Have a garden of people as hostages.
Microbots, a way to heal people, a bike that goes fast, or a large lizard. What do you want to invent?
Microbots.
You want to invent microbots? Okay. How are you most helpful to the people around you? You can build robots. You can listen to people's feelings. You can be honest with people, or you can be a non-judgmental person for others to come to.
D, non-judgmental. That's not true.
I know. Why?
I ooze judgment.
What kind of student are you, Jeremy? Are you an overachiever? Do you enjoy researching information on the web about different subjects? You work hard on projects you're passionate about, or you don't like school but enjoy learning on your own?
I work hard on projects I'm passionate about.
How do you come off to others? Angsty, sweet, edgy, or laid back?
Angsty? I don't know.
All right, sure, man. What holds you back the most? You doubt yourself? You need to recharge a lot? You're guarded, or you're unmotivated?
Ooh. I doubt myself.
You do?
Yes.
You don't come off like that at all. What color do you like wearing the most? The last one. Purple, red, yellow, or green?
Blue.
That's not one of the choices.
Okay, green then.
All right, you are Hiro Hamada.
I knew I was going to be Hiro.
You're a brainy whiz at school who might have graduated early or been an overachiever. How are those different, by the way? If you graduate early, that by default, you're an overachiever. Your biggest skill is computer engineering, and you are capable of building microbots or super armor for your friends with ease. In your spare time, you like to construct robots and fight them against each other. Although you might doubt yourself, your inventions are epic.
I thought I was going to be dead brother.
You are dead brother. You are very cold to people around you.
Well, that quiz was fun. I enjoyed it thoroughly. You
Figured
did.
you
I
would.
mean,
Now back to the show.
Wrong one.
that CNBC article had me enthralled last week.
Oh, about Iger, the Iger Chapek drama about the shower and
Yes.
everything. Oh,
The shower.
so I talked about it briefly at the end of our last main show, which is on Thursday, which I haven't published yet because I had audio problems. But it was with Aaron Goldberg. You know who that is? The author, Aaron Goldberg.
Does he live in Florida?
He does.
Did I meet him?
I can't tell you that. Secret. I told him I would never tell you.
Okay.
Yeah. But he wrote Buying Disney's Land, this great book here.
Oh, I've seen that. I wanted to read that, actually.
It's fantastic.
Buying Disney's World.
Buying
Yeah.
Disney's World. Sorry, excuse me. Yes, Buying Disney's World. It's a fantastic read. You could probably do it in one sitting, maybe two. It's thin, but it pulls you along. It's a fantastic book. But I covered the story at the end of that show, and it was I don't know, man. It made me laugh so hard. It's just it makes Iger look just the most petty. It's like the pettiest person in the entire universe.
It really paints him in a bad light.
It really does.
Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But Aaron, I reached out to him, and he heard about our show through streaming Spectro Radio, and he says he streams Spectro Radio all the time.
Well, Aaron,
And I think he follow him on Twitter. He follows you on Twitter or something like
the
that.
name is very familiar, which
Yeah.
is why I'm like, I feel like this is someone I do interact with perhaps on Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't think he was hating on me last week.
Oh yeah, maybe he wasn't one of those. I
No,
thought about
those were
getting
the
you,
French.
reaching out to you and seeing if you wanted to be on for that show, and I probably should have. But I want to buy another one of his books and have him back on. So if you want to come on for that and talk to him, he's a very Disney World focused young man.
Yes. Well, that would be fascinating, and I would love it. I love to read about Disney books. Pardon me. I am working on a Spectro Time segment. I think it's going to be a full episode.
I love it.
It's been so long.
Aaron was super cool, and he was like, "Yeah, let's come on and just talk. I don't care." I'm like,
Great.
All right. Yeah.
And did he have so he had a lot of, I mean, he's done research on how Walt,
yeah.
like how he bought all that property, and
he got access to the records of the lawyers who worked on it, and like he's talking about reaching out. Let's turn the go for a second. Talking about like people in the book, family of people in the book reaching out to him after reading the book, and was like, "Yeah, my dad did this, or my dad was that, or my uncle was whatever," and he's like. It's just wild, man. So he has a new book out now. I think it's called Presenting Disneyland. And he bought a bunch of slides, images on auction that have never been seen before of like opening day and whatever.
oh, that sounds amazing. I would love to
Dude.
see those. I mean, I troll
Yeah.
eBay all the time looking for this, and
Oh, yeah, you'll
old pictures
never-
and stuff like
yeah.
that because I want them, and just because
Never
I want
find them.
them.
Yeah. You just
Well,
want
they're
them.
really expensive.
I know. That's why. It's like,
Yeah, well,
But even if you just look it up, like I think it's called Presenting Disneyland, and just the first image will blow your mind. It'll blow your wig way back because it's a scaffolding in front of the thing, and they're setting up for something, and it just looks, and they're in color, which I think
Wow.
a lot of the pics from that time weren't in color.
yeah.
So it's a whole different view of the parks, and it's a coffee
Amazing.
table book, so it's like $50. But
oh wow.
but yeah, I don't know, Aaron. It's a great book. Buying Disney's World is a good book. I support it anyway. We're getting out of here. Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate it for what was yet another D23 recap show.
I liked it. I
like
didn't have to
these.
do
I
any
think it's
work.
fun. Yeah, me either. To be honest with you, because I already did it on Saturday, man. I woke up too early, was in a bad mood too, and I was sort of glad that there was no stream on Sunday. I was like, man, I want to do this stuff, but I kind of like, I don't know. No one, I don't know. It felt.
I know. I woke up
and
and I see a text from you. You're like, wake up and come join me on the stream. And I was like,
first of all, I didn't say it like that. I didn't say, wake up and come and join me on the stream. I was like, wake up.
You were like, you sent me a text that said, you up?
Yo, what you doing?
It says, yeah, I don't know. And I was like, I don't want to do it. I just didn't want to.
That's fine. You didn't have to. Alice joined me. So if you want to go back, you guys can watch on YouTube. I left them all up. Yeah, that's it. We're getting out of here. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I will drop that Aaron Goldberg episode tomorrow.
Ooh.
And that will be good. I'm almost done with it. So yeah. It was great. It was a fascinating talk. I enjoyed it a lot. Anyway, thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you.